Evening and welcome back to another video. Today I'm really going to just focus on two main things. We're going to have a look at why XRP is up 11% today, and also what we are going to do to get ourselves out of this sideways movement. So let's just first of all look at XRP. So from the chart, you can see it's just almost a complete straight line up, which looks very good. Ripple's up to 32 cents. 24-hour volume is pretty big, $701 million. So in fact, if I look at it 24-hour volume, it's not bad. I mean, XRP is slightly higher, but of course the price is a lot higher. And EOS there, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So doing pretty well. I mean, the massive difference between XRP and Bitcoin Cash, that's nearly 400 and 40 million dollars. So a massive jump. And what's leading this? And that is down to this one. So Ripple's partnership with R3. So I'll just read this bit and we'll discuss more into detail of what this means for XRP. Why the R3 Swift partnership is cranking the gears of XRP rumor mill. So obviously 11%, so a lot of buying going on. At Swift, the 11,000 member global payment network has announced a partnership with enterprise blockchain consortium R3, and the news is already being felt in the cryptocurrency market, where the rusty gears of Ripple XRP rumor have begun to turn at a rapid pace. Swift goes blockchain with R3 trial. According to the announcement, Swift and R3 have developed a proof of concept that links Swift GIP payment network with R3 Corda platform to monitor payment flows, settle GPI payments through their bank, and receive credit confirmations. The group will publish their results of the trial in September. So a long trial. What's that going to be? About 7-8 month trial. XRP bulls responded with rabid enthusiasm to news speculating the R3 alliance with San Francisco-based crypto starter Ripple past multi-billion-dollar legal disputes having been swept under the rug. So what happened was there was a deal apparently that Ripple had donated or sold 5 billion XRP to R3, and there was a bit of a trial because this was a long time ago and the price was very low. I think it must have been like 0.0001, and then obviously R3 then wanted this cryptocurrency, and then there was a bit of a trial between, I think Ripple was saying that they had broken some sort of clause in the contract, and R3 said no. And I think their point was R3 wanted to get this 5 billion crypto and then just sell them. At that time, this was probably going into last year. At that time, even if Ripple was around 50 cents, you were looking at a $2.5 billion return if they just dumped the market with 5 billion. They've obviously now worked things out, and it's kind of complete 360 from this original chaos which ensued last year. And this article will go on about that actually. So let's have a look. So absent from the announcement, of course, was any clear statement that Ripple company would play in the partnership, much less introduce its XRP cryptocurrency to the Swift network of financial institutions. However, Ripple bulls have a lengthy track record letting their hopes and dreams get the best of them. I think we all do that. The classic example of this year-long writing campaign intended to persuade US cryptocurrency giant Coinbase to list Ripple. It's remarkable how many times Ripple price has rallied on mere speculation. Well, a lot of currencies have as well. It's not just Ripple. This part's not that interesting, to be honest. But so this is more important. Swift CEO appears to praise XRP. Speaking during the panel session, Swift CEO Gottfried Lieberbrand appeared to heap praise on Ripple, at least to the great extent that one would expect. I think that the big part of Ripple's value proposition is that cryptocurrency XRP, Liebert said, there we do find the banks are hesitant to convert things into cryptocurrency right now because of the volatility in the currencies. Still, Liebert is stepping down from the SWIFT in June following a 7-year tenure as CEO, so Ripple should probably avoid hanging too many of their hopes on this single statement. Yeah, things can change in an instant. So, more importantly though, Arthur recently made XRP the first cryptocurrency available through its Corda settler product. I think that's important, and that's what I want to talk about. The fact that they went from having a legal battle to settling this legal battle, and potentially, obviously this is my speculation, that one of the deals was that they were going to then list XRP as a settler product, and obviously this is what's happening. It's a massive 360. And I continue to read. As CNN reported, and while Swift's statement did not explicitly mention Corda settler, R3 CEO David Rutter name-dropped it in the press release. Following the recent launch of our Corda settler, allowing for the payment of obligations raised on the Corda platform, it was a logical extension to plug into Swift GPI. Swift GPI has rapidly become the new standard to settle payments right across the world. All the blockchain applications running on Corda will thus benefit from the fast, future, and transparent settlement provided through Swift GPI banks. So what's more interesting is Brad Garlinghouse, actually, who is the CEO of Ripple, was actually at the press announcement. Along with the fact that Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse participated in the panel where Swift and R3 made the announcement, be a hint that there are more goings on beneath the surface than initially meets the eye. Perhaps, then again, perhaps Coinbase will list XRP tomorrow. Yes, we can only hope. In the meantime, investors must gamble whether Ripple can leverage its relationship with R3 to convince banks to take on plunge into cryptocurrency via Corda settler platform. And the XRP army, for its part, will continue to respond to Coinbase tweets. So let's start. So XRP has been, in the news, I would say mainly for the last, most of all of 2017 and all of 2018, and probably near the back end of 2016. But as in mainstream, I mean, I'm sure people obviously knew about it in 2015, I think, but there wasn't much rumblings compared to what it is now. Now, obviously, this product has a long way, has got a long reach, and it looks like it's going to do that. Now, what's my opinion on this? Obviously, this is not financial advice. XRP's Ripple's goal is to take on, or collaborate with Swift. Swift transact a vast amount of money. I think it's something like 180 trillion dollars a year. So that's trillion, not a billion, a trillion. You might be more actually. So the idea is whether Ripple, through the XRP token, get a portion of that, get some of it, get all of it. Obviously, that's going to be a long way away, or work with Swift and Swift integrate XRP. And obviously, the R3 news doesn't directly mention Ripple. Obviously, it's not a Ripple Swift partnership. It's a partnership between Swift and R3, using obviously some components of XRP. They're obviously not using XRapid. We're not talking about this in the article. It's not mentioned. I think the rumor is that now they've warmed up to the idea. And before, obviously, Swift have always been not negative, but not really talked about cryptocurrency or talked about Ripple. And the only currency they were ever going to use was going to be Stellar or XRP. And because obviously Swift is a payment transfer, it's not a currency, so it facilitates payments. So there were only ever going to be two, unless something else comes out and it destroys both of these. So we are looking at a future where Swift is going to start using this protocol, and I think the idea is whether other banks will pick this up and then start using, and whether it will be XRapid. So this is kind of a warming up into where I think Brad Garlinghouse wants it to go. So this is obviously a 7-8 month trial. Well, it's practically February on Friday, so a 7-month trial of R3, and then obviously amongst that, the fact that Brad Garlinghouse was actually at the meeting suggests that there's obviously more going on. The fact that he wants to be involved, or whether he's still trying to schmooze with Swift, and obviously not necessarily the CEO since he's stepping down, but generally the Swift board, and that obviously consists of more than one person, and whether they can get XRP on that platform for some transfers, or whether they're going to take a pie of Swift, and undoubtedly, regardless of which avenue they take, there's a very, very bright future for XRP token generally. And again, going back to what I was saying constantly, real world solutions, real world actions, and I'll go into my second piece in a moment, but I just want to wrap up with XRP. Obviously the price is up 11%, and again this is just based on more on like rumor and what we expect on a sort of assumption based buy, but obviously there's a lot of buy today, so I just want to have a quick look at compared to day by day analysis of the buy of XRP. So it's crazy. Oops, that's last 7 days. Let's look at. So if you look at, this is just from a few days ago, and that's like $357 billion 25 volume, and around the 300s, nothing, 400, 500, 400, and then 700. And what did it get to? About 709. What did I say? 702. So yeah, a big jump even at 500. Still a $200 billion. 200 million. I wish 200 billion. $200 million jump of buy. So that's massive. So obviously a lot of people see this news and straight away started buying up XRP. And obviously the more liquidity there is going back and forth, the less negative news or sales can tank the price. Obviously whether we see the same sort of buy tomorrow or Friday will be interesting. I don't think that it will be this high, but it's certainly jack the price of XRP up. And again, it's got that slight gap now between itself and Ethereum of around $1.9 billion, and obviously because of Ethereum's Constantinople delay, obviously that price has kind of halted a bit. So yeah, it will be interesting to see in the next few days what happens with the XRP price. Whether this, I don't expect a 10% day-on-day increase for XRP because this is just one big piece of news. It's it maybe last for another day, but it's not going to last for days and days, if not, and certainly not for weeks and weeks, unless something comes out quickly. But this is going to last for several months, and that's why again it seems like the second half of this year, or certainly the second quarter going into it, we expect to see prices increase. So I'll leave it at that. Tell me what you guys think about this XRP thing. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Well, I can't see any bad reasons why, to be honest. It's only good. We're hearing XRP in the market more. If it was in a world where Swift was selling this product to their customers on behalf of XRP, that would be interesting. So, of course, that's just my idea, my theory. But that's just one thing I'll talk about. The next thing I want to talk about is what are we doing in this market in terms of our buying, what I'm looking to buy. Again, I'll reiterate, this is my opinions of what I think is going to happen. It's not financial advice. Please do your own research and never just dump too feet into the market. So firstly, we've been moving sideways for a while now. Regardless of the slight dips, we seem to just hovering around 3,400 to 3,600 dollar mark, and there's been various talks of bottoms, and ultimately nobody knows the bottom. People saying 3,000, 2,800, 2,200, 1,200. So what would I be doing? I have been doing, and I will do what I've been doing, leading up to this price, is buy, and buy, and essentially, and again, in my opinion, I am only buying the projects which are not only the fact they're in the news often, but are doing real things in terms of partnerships, listings, and obviously mentions in the press of information. And again, Bitcoin, our number one coin, is always for me a strong buy personally. Regardless of the price coming down, the news keeps coming out. So at the moment, the US government is open, so hopefully we can get some sort of clarity on Backed now. Now that's open. I saw an article or a report today that I think Fidelity is going to launch in March, looks like, with the Bitcoin exchange. So you've got that coming. So we're really talking about a second quarter of 2019 where we look to see changes. And obviously, again, with Backed probably going to be March now, Fidelity will be March. And obviously other exchanges listing Bitcoin as a trading option, not just in the US and other regions. So you've got that, and is now a good time to buy, or is it a good time to buy at $2,000? That's almost an objective opinion, because I will keep buying, whether it's going to be even $50 a month of buying a 0.01 of a Bitcoin, or a 0.05 of a Bitcoin monthly. Obviously, that those at $50, you'd expect that $50 to be worth less and less in terms of how much buying power it gives you in about 3 or 4 months' time. Well, you hope it could always go the other way, but the idea was to put a little aside every month and buy Bitcoin. So $50 a month will give me 0.01, and obviously if I did that continuously and the price remained the same over the year, I would have 0.12 of Bitcoin. So not bad for a year to gain a tenth of a Bitcoin and add it to the accumulation of other Bitcoin. So it's very easy for me to say that. Obviously not everyone's got spare capital or spare money on the side just to put money into Bitcoin every month. But something else I saw someone else talk about, which is very interesting. Similar to the US, the UK has lottery, and people buy lottery week in, week out. I don't play the lottery. I used to back in the day. I decided not to. I didn't think it was worth it. So you would put down, people would in the UK would spend maybe £5 or £6 every week buying scratch cards or lottery tickets. So what's that? About $7, $8 every week on scratch cards or lottery tickets or whatever it may be. So if you now times that by 4, you've got $32 a month on just something where you're unlikely to win. I think in the UK, the chance of winning Euro Millions, which is a big one where you want to win it, is 1 in 114 million, right? You have to think about that. This is a Euro Million, so it's across Europe, so it's 1 in 114 million. There are around 70 million people in the UK. So, on those bases, you're trying to win something where is bigger than the population in the UK. And it's obviously on those bases, it happens very rarely. Do you see a winner? It often rolls over and rolls over. And of course, when the person does win, they win big. They win 50, 60 million pounds. Fantastic. But the ones who don't win, who play it for their whole life, wasting money, that's one thing. The other thing is gambling. I don't gamble, and people will spend $10, $20, $30 every Saturday gambling on football or cricket or whatever it may be. So even if you're spending $20 a week gambling, that's already $80. So if you add it to the other $30, you're spending $110 a month on useless stuff where you're not going to be return is unlikely, right? So there's two places or few places you could really stick that 100. Let's just round it up to $100. You either stick it in gold, you stick it in a savings account, or you stick it in a cryptocurrency. Now, whether you choose Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum, if you want Litecoin and Stellar and Tron, where it may be. So you've now got $100 every month. You can stick it in a savings account. Your return will be very, very low. If you stick $100 in a savings account every month, that's $1,200 over the year at a rate of like a 0.1% interest. You would likely make about about $6 because you're working on the half a figure, which will be 600 at the end in the middle of the month, and obviously 10% is $60 and 0.1%. Sorry, that's even less. Let's say 1%. That can't be 1%. It'll be 1%. It'll be $6. So out of a year, you would make $6 return on the $1,200 saving. Of course, not very good. Gold, you can stick it in gold, fairly safe, but it will be fairly stable throughout the year. Your return will be minimal. Now, you now stick $100 every month into, let's just say, Bitcoin and XRP for the sake of it. You stick $50 into Bitcoin, you stick $50 into XRP. Now, $50 will give you around 400, maybe 450 XRP. So let's say after a few months, obviously that price of XRP starts increasing. So over the year, you have something like, I don't know, 2,500 XRP. Now you've got a tangible, well, kind of tangible asset, which we expect the price to go up. So let's just say we get to that magic figure of $10 for XRP, in a year's time or 2 years' time, wherever it is. Even from my prediction, I'm expecting a lot higher for XRP. So let's just say for sake of argument, by the end of this year, we don't get to the prices we expected, and XRP hits $10. So now, and I'm talking about December 31st. So now over the year, your investment, which you've saved every month, and obviously I've done a reducing figure on XRP because you're not going to get the same figure every month. We expect the prices to go up and for you to get less XRP for your $100 value. So your $2,500 will be worth $25,000 now. So you've made $25,000 by investing $1,200 over the year. Now you think about the waste of money where you invest in lottery, gambling, and other things that you don't expect to get any return, or wasting return on items. What happened there? Sorry, another article from CCN. And that's sort of the strategy I'm taking now. I'm trying to reduce places where I don't need to necessarily spend money to give myself more surplus to buy crypto. I know people who would spend $100 a week on crypto. I'm not necessarily advocating that because I certainly don't want people to try and get themselves into debt to buy crypto. But the idea is we are more than likely going to expect prices increase. Now, of course, people can say this is a form of gambling. This is we're similar to the stock market. We're hedging our bets. This is more calculated hedging than who's going to win the lottery, because that's just this complete outright just random. Cryptocurrency not being random. We don't expect coin number 400 to make it. There's a chance. It's just improbable that coin 400 will make it, and nothing else will. We expect currencies like Bitcoin and XRP and Ethereum and EOS to make it. And obviously other ones which are lower down, which have got good value, like some of the previous coins. You've got Near there, blah 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 blah. But we're hedging our bets, so we expect the market to start rising, and we expect Bitcoin price to rise. We expect XRP price to rise, and we expect Ethereum to rise. So now, even with Ethereum, we had a $1,400 Ethereum around January 2018. It's sitting at $100. XRP reached $3.60. We're sitting at 32 cents. Bitcoin hit $20,000. We're sitting at $3,500. So if you were going to just invest $100 every month, $1,200 every year, I'm sure most people would wouldn't see $100 as a loss in terms of them reducing other outgoings by reducing items which they don't necessarily think they'll give them any sort of return. Don't expect to win the lottery tomorrow, type of thing. And that's the strategy I'm taking. I'm buying on the down, buying on the up, because ultimately, you know, again, regardless of all the negative news, whatever came out of Davos, whatever Dr. Doom said, whatever his name, Mr. Rubini, Bitcoin's not going to go to zero if people keep buying up. If Winklevoss brothers own 100, 200, 300,000 Bitcoin, and Grayscale own 100,000 or 1% of Bitcoin, and I'm sure Fidelity are buying it, and I'm sure the New York Exchange are buying up, and I'm sure Venezuela are buying up, and Russia and Iran and South Korea and North Korea and China, the US, everybody is buying crypto. It's just not advertising it out because they're ultimately pushing out individuals who are investing $100 a month. And now is the time to invest your $100 a month to make a purpose of, I'm going to invest in the product which was designed for me, but is going to be hijacked by the biggest institutions. And it will be, and it is. Once the price gets to a certain point where your the price of Bitcoin is $20,000, $25,000, your $100 is not going to give you much Bitcoin. Even at $10,000, for $100, you're not going to get much Bitcoin, are you? So at the moment, $50 will give you 0.01, and when it hits 10,000, you're going to go down the pecking order of your decimal places. So I'll be buying Bitcoin, and again, I'm not advocating people to go and buy Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum. I don't want people to go buy it because I'm saying it or other people are saying it. Do your own research. It may not be Bitcoin the one you like. It may be XRP. Maybe something else. It might be Monero. It might be Neo. It might be NEM, Zcash, and other ones that I'm not too familiar of. But do your research into the project. Look at, is this going to do anything? Is it going to change? What's the news which is coming out? What is the project team doing? What has the project team been doing? What are the partnerships? Are they real world solutions? Are they fixing something which is broken? Is it innovation? And we look at the first 2 or 3 or 4 cryptocurrencies. Yes, there's innovation, there's building, there's money, things are there. So just look at yourself, look at what you earn, look at where you're spending your money, and hey, it may just take one coffee, not having one coffee a day, to stop that. I buy one coffee a day. It costs me, $3, and it doesn't sound like much, but over a week, that's $15. You times that by 4, that's $60 now. So that's $60 you're spending on coffee. If I was going to quit coffee, that money would then go straight into crypto. So my $50 I invested now will become $110, and look at how much more Bitcoin, how much more XRP I can buy. I'm only advocating people look at where they spend money, and is crypto the best place to investment? Like, for example, I spoke about XRP earlier. You're not going to get 11% return on stocks like that. If stock increases 11% day on day, people will be throwing money into that. That's a massive gain, 11%. I remember in 2010, 2011, when Iran signed sanctions with the US, the price of oil tanked, and there was so much sell going on, and it was a great day because loads of people made loads of money that day, because as soon as they knew that news, there was a massive sell, massive profits to be made on those days. But they're very, very rare. Whereas with cryptocurrency, we expect XRP to get to $20, $30. At a certain point, we expect Bitcoin to get to $50,000 or $100,000 at some point. Whether it's going to be all of this year or whether it's going to go into 2020, though. But we expect prices to increase, once we get more people buying in and not selling out. And that's the main thing, is to buy to hold and not buy to sell. I'm not going to be selling my cryptocurrency for a number of years, and at that point I may never sell it, because there's 2 ways of looking at it. Either you get to the point where Bitcoin or XRP or Ethereum or EOS has become a currency and you can just use that. So I will go buy a car, buy a house, buy investment property, where it is with Bitcoin. Or you leave it and it's inherited by your kids or your grandkids, and at that point Bitcoin is worth 10 million, 100 million. So you have to look at which price you would sell at. Would I sell at 20,000 Bitcoin? No way. Would I sell at 50,000? No way. But that is me individually and what I think Bitcoin is going to be worth one day and what I expect for my investment to return. Obviously, we all at some point will expect to get a big return. So if you bought Bitcoin in 2014 when it was maybe 500, when it was about $600 or $700, and even now you've made a good profit, but are you happy with a profit of around 2,800 per Bitcoin, depending on how much you own? Or you rather be happy that you can make a profit of 60, 70,000, 80,000 per Bitcoin, or even 500,000? So it comes down to what your life goals are, what your life ambitions are. If it's just to clear off some debts, then maybe 20,000 is good enough for you, and you can't handle the ups and downs of Bitcoin, the cryptocurrency market. But it's not the same for everybody. So look at yourself, look at where you're spending your money, look at what you can possibly do to save money in terms of not wasting it, but push it into a market where we expect good returns. And there's a lot of news coming out, and more governments are talking about cryptocurrencies like Iran and Russia, and not necessarily the top countries, but it takes a few and then others will follow countries. And then if we do get an SEC approval maybe next year for EFT, and we've got back, you've got Fidelity, New York Stock Exchange, and you've got maybe Barclays and other exchanges and other banks, everyone's buying up, then a lot more liquidity. And if they're going to make another sort of pricing index for cryptocurrency, and they'll include OTC, then you're talking about real money coming in, real prices shooting up. So I'll leave it there. I don't want to I don't want to go on too long what people should be doing, but please comment, like, and subscribe. Tell me what you guys think. What you guys buying? Am I saying, is it correct? Do you disagree? Do you agree? Is there other things we can be doing? I mean, the other thing we can do, before I finish, is tell your friends. Tell them it's good, what you think and your opinion. Is it a good time to buy, a bad time to buy? People ask me, I'll give them my honest opinion without giving them advice. I think it's a really low price. It's a really good time to buy many different cryptocurrencies. You only need to go through the top 10, talk about what they originally were on and where they can get to, as long as they all have legitimate goals behind them. So what is XRP doing? How many partnerships does it have? What was it? Where was it before? Who's interested in XRP? Who knows about XRP? If I talk to people in the banking industry, everybody talks about XRP and Bitcoin. They don't mention anything else. Why is that? XRP is bank friendly. Bitcoin is number one. It's been there from the start. So think about it, guys. Please think about it seriously. We can really pump this market up and get to where it should be and hold at high levels without selling. It's all about holding those coins. Anyway, have a great evening, everyone. Good as always making these videos. Please like and subscribe, and thank you to everybody who's been listening and watching my videos. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Goodbye.